First away day since March 2020. Bring it on. Let's just hope the lads remember how to defend. Aston Villa match preview. Welcome back to Black and White Banter, everyone. I didn't actually get a chance to do a review for the West Ham game, a match review. I was travelling at the time. I watched it in a mixture of a hotel in Ocean City and travelling on a bus. But here we are, first away game for fans to actually go to since March 2020. I'm currently based in the New York area at the moment, so unfortunately I'm not going to be on that party bus with a beer in hand at 6 o'clock in the morning. So anyone watching this who is travelling down to Aston Villa on Saturday, I am jealous as hell. Please have a drink for me. I cannot wait to get that first away game back in. I'll quickly touch on the West Ham game before I touch on the match preview for Saturday. I thought there was a lot of positives. I've seen a lot. I don't know whether any of you Newcastle fans agree with me. I've seen a lot of doom and gloom from that performance. And yes, I'm not going to sit here and say we didn't defend very, very poorly in the second half. We did. It was worrying, of course, to concede 4 goals at home in the first game against a team like West Ham. Yes, if you're coming up against the Man Cities and the Chelseas and whatnot, you maybe expected a little bit more. West Ham, bit of a different animal without Lingard, and some of the defending was a little bit suspect. We sort of imploded in that 5-minute period. But, as I said in my match preview, it's the first game of the season. No form going into it, an opportunity to see where things need to improve, where we might look okay. And I didn't come away from that game too worried. Defensively, yes, of course, lots and lots of things to work on. I just saw a lot of doom and gloom on social media. Same old shite, you know. I saw a lot of the Bruce out stuff. I'm not Bruce's biggest fan. Everyone who watches any of my videos knows I'm not Bruce's biggest fan. But I just thought there was a little bit too much doom and gloom from one performance where in the first half I thought we played with a bit of purpose. If there is one thing that team has lacked in all of Bruce's tenure, it's any kind of identity going forward or purpose. And yes, I'm not going to sit here and say any other option but Maximin was the way forward, because without him on that field on Sunday, I don't know where all that excitement and the attacking threat was going to come from. But we've got Callum Wilson, who knows where the goal is. I thought his first goal was brilliant. First goal back in front of the crowd at St James's Park, great for him. Can only be a good thing going into the rest of the games. And you're always going to fancy Callum Wilson to score. So a couple of positives there. Generally, defensively in the second half, we were poor. But what I will touch on now is where I think things need to be changed for this Aston Villa game. So, Aston Villa, again, our running start of the season isn't too bad. We could have had it worse. We could have had the Chelseas. We could have had the Man Cities. We could have had the Man Uniteds. I know we've got them in a couple of weeks, but generally the first 2 or 3 games aren't as bad as they could have been. I see Aston Villa, again, as one of them games can go either way. They've chucked a lot of money at their squad this season, obviously in place of Grealish, who, by the way, is a massive loss. I mean, he is a fucking fantastic player. Let's not make any mistakes about that. Aston Villa fans must have been devastated to lose Jack Grealish. They've chucked some money at it. We only sit here in envy that we aren't the football club that's had some money thrown at us. We're all jealous. I don't like Aston Villa. There's a bit of history there now because of how they treated us when we got relegated. I think that's starting to die off a little bit. But generally, I think their fans just seem to be quite mean and nasty to us for whatever reason. So I always want to beat them. I don't think it's a game I'm scared of. I just think we need to sharpen up in certain areas or we will be beaten again. So for me, I think there needs to be changes defensively. I think our 2 wing-backs cannot defend. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a massive Richie fan. I am not a massive Richie fan. It causes massive divide with Newcastle fans. He screams and he shouts a lot. Yes, he's got a decent left peg going forward. Yes, can he defend? Can he shite? Murphy on the other side, great going forward. Loads of pace, great at getting back quickly. But can he defend? Is he a natural defender? I don't think he is. So that worries me. If there was ever an area of the pitch I would like to see us strengthened in before now and the end of the transfer window, it is fullbacks. I'm just not so sure. I think going into the season, I don't think Lewis is a good enough replacement for Richie's week. You might hate on me for this one, I would prefer to see Dummett playing there. Terrible going forward, but defensively he's sound compared to Richie. Fullback on the other side, I don't know. I like Murphy. I think he's come on leaps and bounds, but he is not a natural defender. He wouldn't argue he's a natural defender. And that's where some of our goals came from. His tackle, by the way, VAR, I thought it was going well. What the fuck happened on Sunday with that penalty decision? Who knows? That was not a penalty in my opinion. I watched it a fair few times. Why that wasn't looked at again, I've got no idea at all. That was not a penalty. But Those are areas that we need to improve in. Do we change the centre-back partnership? I don't know. Kraft, for me, gets a little bit too much criticism, but I don't think he's great. He's still got a lot of learning to do. When you've got the likes of like maybe Fabian Schär, who's a bit more experienced, to come in, I would prefer to see him in the side. Jonjo Shelvey, I don't know what you were thinking on Sunday, mate, but you seriously, we sound like stuck records, us Newcastle fans, talking about it. You need to put a bit more work in. You cannot keep getting away with floating around the pitch like you're on the beach on a Sunday afternoon, like I just have been in Long Beach. You can't keep doing it, mate. We are seeing through it and we are getting found out. The Premier League is a lot faster paced, Mr. Jonjo, than what you maybe used to when you were coming through the ranks at Liverpool and playing at Swansea. You cannot swan around the pitch playing your Hollywood passes and expect us to win football matches. You need to put some graft in. So for me, Bruce needs to have a serious look at Shelvey. He's one of them ones, he must be piping him off under the table or giving him some sort of sexual favours, because Jonjo Shelvey is one of them players, he doesn't seem to be dropped at all. Almiron, for me, a lot of people believed he played well on Sunday. I personally think he didn't, because he doesn't offer us any quality going forward. Yes, he runs a lot. Yes, we all love him for his work rate, but I can work hard. He needs to show more in terms of position and play. He's passing, he's through balls. I just think he lacks something in the final third, and he frustrates me week after week after week. But again, he always makes it in the team, and we don't have much backup. I would personally rather see Fraser start on Saturday. He's looked okay in pre-season. He's raring to go. He's got great connections with Wilson from their time at Bournemouth. Throw him in. We're expecting the team to stay much the same, but I would like to hope, Bruce being the ex-defender that he is, he makes some changes defensively, because that was worrying on Sunday. That was the main part of the performance where, like, yes, we weren't great in the second half, but like shit, we looked very, very suspect in that back line. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm confident of a win against Aston Villa, because they will be up for it. It's their first home game of the season with fans back in the stadium. You've got to be prepared for that. We'll maybe go into that game as slight underdogs, and they've spent some money, but you've got to say a team like Aston Villa, without Grealish, they are a different team. Grealish made them tick, and when they didn't have him in the team last season, they were terrible. Their points percentage was awful, so take him out. All of these new players need to gel. I think Danny Ings was a fantastic signing. We'll have to keep an eye on him. He knows where the goal is without a doubt, but it's one of them. Who can call it? Who can call any game this early in the season? I'm going to go for a draw. I would take a point now. I would rip your hand off for a point. Aston Villa away, because they've invested, we haven't. They've got a lot of attacking threat on show, we don't. But let's just get St. Maximin involved. The things he was doing with the football on Sunday, I was creaming my pants. It's so... I had an argument with an American over here. I said, Maximin is one of the best dribblers in world football. That makes me sound like the most biased Newcastle fan in the world, but you try and tell me many other players who can pick up the ball and run at people like he can and keep the ball as close to his foot as he can. There isn't many better. He terrorises defenders. And he was fantastic again on Saturday. Decision making, he needs to improve. I'm sorry. Yes, you can be the best player in the world and dribble past every player on the field, but you need to know when to pass. And he got caught on Sunday and they scored because of it. He needs to know when to get rid of that football and when to piss about and do all your fancy tricks. Ben Arthur was the same. All the better players make these mistakes. Laurent Robert was guilty of it at times, pissing about with it in wrong places. But we'll see. When him and Wilson are firing, you always get off your seat and think something could happen here. Something could happen here. So let's just go into the Aston Villa game. I want to see the same attacking intent that we had in the first half to get at them. We'll be cheering the boys on. I'm sure every Newcastle fan who's travelling down to Villa on Saturday, you lucky bastards, will be cheering them on. I'm going to be in an Irish bar in New York watching the game. Peter Dilligan's, if anyone wants to know. It's a Newcastle biased bar in New York City. Let me know if you want to meet up there. It used to be Legends Bar in New York, but things have changed. I was in there the other day. The guy got me a couple of rounds of Jaeger bombs. He wants every Newcastle fan to go there. So I'm going to go for a score draw. As always, Newcastle fans, let me know in the comments your score predictions for the weekend. How you think things went after the game. Whether you think we're going to sign anyone. Very fucking unlikely, let's face it. But where we need to strengthen. And just what your predictions going into that game are. Because Aston Villa to me is a bit of a funny one. No form. Not a great team. Not a terror. Like, they're not going to scare us a game like that. Definitely winnable, but you just never know with Newcastle, especially after the way we defended on Sunday. But fingers crossed we get some points on the board, because if you go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games without any points, that's when things get a bit scary and you start falling just that little bit behind everybody else. So get Maximin on the ball, make some changes in that defence, in my opinion. John Joe Shelvey, if you're staying in, you need to graft more, mate. You need to graft your bollocks off. If not, bring him out. And we'll just see how it goes. Fingers crossed we can get 3 points. As always, like, subscribe to Black and White Banter, and comment and let me know your thoughts for the weekend. Yeah.